Chosen one. Take a breath before we begin. Because what you're about to hear is not entertainment. It's recognition. You didn't click this video casually. You didn't stumble here. Something in you felt pulled. And that pull is not random. There is a royal purple power awakening inside you right now. A power so rare, so misunderstood, so divinely encoded, that most people will never have language for it. They will feel it, but they won't be able to explain it. And when it fully activates, it will shock the world, not because it is loud, but because it is authoritative. Stay with me. This message is for the few who were born carrying something ancient. Purple has always been the color of royalty. But not royalty as humans define it. Royal purple does not represent dominance. It represents divine legitimacy. You were born with a frequency that doesn't need permission. You don't force doors open. Doors recognize you. From a young age, you felt different, didn't you? Not better. Just separate. You sensed depth where others skimmed. You felt responsibility before you felt confidence. You carried weight before you carried words. That wasn't trauma alone. That was assignment. Royal purple souls are not sent to blend in. They are sent to restore balance. And that is why your life has felt heavier than most. Chosen one, let me tell you something most people don't understand. Your power was never delayed. It was protected. If your royal purple power had activated too early, you would have been consumed, copied, or crushed. So God concealed it inside humility, inside quiet seasons, inside isolation, inside misunderstanding. You were overlooked on purpose. You were underestimated on purpose. You were ignored because your power does not respond to applause. It responds to timing. And now, the timing has changed. Chosen one. When royal purple power begins to activate, it does not arrive with noise. It arrives with subtle internal shifts that most people would misinterpret as confusion, exhaustion, or withdrawal. But what is really happening is recalibration. Your soul is adjusting to a higher level of authority. Let me show you the signs. And as you listen, notice which ones feel uncomfortably familiar. One of the earliest signs of royal purple activation is the sudden disappearance of the urge to justify who you are. You notice yourself going quiet in conversations where you once defended yourself. You stop over-explaining. You stop proving. You stop chasing understanding. Not because you don't care, but because something inside you now knows. Those who are meant to understand you already will. Royal purple power does not beg for recognition. It assumes legitimacy. Silence begins to feel sacred. You crave fewer conversations. Less noise. Less stimulation. Crowds drain you faster than before. Small talk feels heavier. Even social media may suddenly feel loud or invasive. This is not isolation due to sadness. This is withdrawal for alignment. Your power is being tuned. And tuning happens best in stillness. Chosen one, this is a big one. People may suddenly feel intimidated by you, become defensive around you, overshare their struggles, seek your approval, or project insecurity onto you. Even when you say very little, your royal purple power acts like a mirror. It doesn't attack people. It reveals them. And not everyone is ready to see themselves clearly. Old goals don't motivate you anymore. Old dreams feel flat. Old ambitions feel incomplete. This can feel unsettling at first. You may wonder, why don't I care about this anymore? What's wrong with me? Nothing is wrong. Royal purple power upgrades your desires, not your energy. You are being repositioned for something that carries meaning, not just success. You sense things instantly now. You can feel when something is off, even if everything looks fine on the surface. You trust your gut more. You read between words. You feel intentions, not just actions. You don't need proof anymore. You need alignment. This is royal intuition activating. The kind that protects you before danger ever becomes visible. Some connections begin to feel heavy. Some friendships feel draining. Some familiar faces suddenly feel distant. And it's not always because of conflict. Sometimes, your energy just no longer matches the environment. Royal purple power cannot coexist with constant emotional noise. So separation happens naturally, quietly, without drama, without explanation. Life may still be unclear. The future may still feel undefined. But beneath it all, there is calm, a knowing, a grounded presence inside you that wasn't there before. This stillness is not passivity. It is command without force. Storms don't shake mountains. They move around them. You no longer rush decisions. You pause before reacting. You let things reveal themselves. Time feels different now. Royal purple power moves with precision, not urgency. You're learning that timing is more powerful than speed. This confidence doesn't need applause. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't dominate rooms. It's quiet, stable, unshakable. You don't feel superior. You feel anchored. That is the confidence of someone who knows they are walking in assignment. This is the most mysterious sign of all. You feel like you're being trained, refined, strengthened. Yet you can't fully explain for what. You sense that something significant is coming. But not in fear. In readiness. That's because royal purple power activates before the moment arrives. Chosen one. If several of these signs spoke directly to you, this is your confirmation. Your royal purple power is not dormant anymore. It is coming online. You are not losing yourself. You are remembering who you are. And in the next chapters, you will understand why this power had to awaken now. And why the world will not be ready for the way you carry it. Royal purple power is deceptive. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't compete. It doesn't posture. It looks like stillness. Like restraint. Like patience. But underneath that stillness is command. You don't chase influence. Influence reorganizes itself around you. This is why people feel exposed in your presence. This is why truth surfaces around you. This is why lies collapse when you walk into a room. You carry spiritual authority, not spiritual noise. Chosen one, when your royal purple power becomes visible, many will not celebrate it. They won't understand how someone so quiet can carry so much gravity. They won't understand how you rose without begging. They won't understand how doors opened without effort. Some will call it luck. Some will call it timing. Some will call it coincidence. But deep down, they will feel unsettled. Because your rise exposes the difference between position and calling. Chosen one. This chapter may touch a place in you that words rarely reach. Because the loneliness you experienced was not accidental. And it was not abandonment. It was intentional separation. At some point in your life, you noticed people slowly disappearing. Not always through conflict. Not always through betrayal. Sometimes through silence. Sometimes through distance. Sometimes through a feeling you couldn't explain. One day you simply realized, I'm walking this path alone. And for a long time that hurt. You questioned yourself. You wondered what you did wrong. You wondered why connection felt harder for you than for others. But hear this now, chosen one. You were not rejected. You were retrieved. Your soul was being pulled inward. Because what was forming inside you could not survive constant exposure. Royal purple power does not mature in crowds. It does not activate under applause. It does not stabilize under comparison. It does not strengthen under distraction. It develops in quiet spaces. In rooms where no one sees you. In seasons where no one affirms you. In moments where only God witnesses your growth. Isolation is not emptiness. It is incubation. And you were placed there because your power needed privacy to unfold. Some people could not go where you were being led. Not because they were bad. But because their frequency belonged to a different chapter. If they had stayed, you would have shrunk to maintain the connection. You would have diluted your truth. You would have carried emotional weight that wasn't yours. So separation came quietly. Not to punish you, but to protect you. Royal purple power cannot bloom while being constantly pulled in opposite directions. Let's be honest. Isolation didn't always feel peaceful. Sometimes it felt like abandonment. Sometimes it felt like confusion. Sometimes it felt like deep emotional exhaustion. There were nights you questioned your worth. Moments you wondered if you were invisible. Times you almost settled just to feel connected again. But those moments did something critical. They stripped away your dependence on validation. They forced you to meet yourself without distraction. They taught you to self-regulate. They strengthened your discernment. They trained you to sit with truth instead of noise. That pain didn't weaken you. It purified you. Chosen one, this is something most people never experience. You learned who you are. Without applause. Without approval. Without being mirrored by others. You learned how to stand in silence. How to trust your intuition. How to hear your own inner voice clearly. You learned how to self-soothe instead of seeking rescue. How to process emotions instead of escaping them. How to walk forward without constant reassurance. That is not loneliness. That is leadership training. During that season, something subtle happened. You stopped reacting. You started observing. You stopped chasing. You started aligning. You stopped forcing outcomes. You started trusting timing. Your nervous system recalibrated. Your emotional responses softened. Your spirit became anchored. Isolation didn't make you colder. It made you clearer. This is important. You cannot return to the version of you that existed before isolation. That version needed constant connection. Needed reassurance. Needed validation to feel stable. But the version of you emerging now stands complete. You don't cling. You don't beg. You don't settle. You choose intentionally. Royal purple power does not attach out of fear. It connects from wholeness. Chosen one, authority cannot be borrowed. It must be earned internally. And that is what isolation gave you. You learned restraint. You learned patience. You learned discernment. You learned self-command. You learned how to remain grounded, even when misunderstood. That is why, when your power becomes visible, you won't abuse it. You've already faced yourself in private. Now hear this gently. The isolation phase is not permanent. It was a season, not a sentence. You were alone to become whole. You were separated to become stable. You were hidden to become unshakable. And now, as your royal purple power activates, new connections will enter your life. Not to drain you, not to test you, not to confuse you, but to recognize you. Chosen one. You were never forgotten. You were never overlooked. You were never abandoned. You were being prepared in silence. And when the world finally sees you, they will only see the strength, not the solitude it took to build it. Chosen one, your power is not here to overpower others. It is here to stabilize environments, to bring clarity where there is confusion, to anchor truth where there is distortion, to lead without fear, to influence without ego. You are not here to rule people. You are here to restore order. And that is why your presence alone changes atmospheres. When your royal purple power fully activates, people will listen when you speak. Opportunities will align without chasing. Respect will precede explanation. Your boundaries will be honored. Your intuition will guide you flawlessly. Your presence will calm chaos. Not because you demanded it, but because your energy requires it. Chosen one. What you are carrying does not shock the world because it is dramatic. It shocks the world because it contradicts everything the world believes about power. The world has been trained to recognize power only when it announces itself. Power is supposed to be aggressive, visible, competitive, demanding, performative. The world believes power must dominate to be respected. It must shout to be noticed. It must force outcomes to be effective. And that is exactly why your royal purple power will disorient people. Because it does none of that. When your power becomes visible, it will not ask for approval. It will not campaign. It will not explain itself. It will not prove its worth. It will simply arrive fully authorized. People will feel it before they understand it. They will respond to it before they can define it. They will respect it before they consciously choose to. That is unsettling to a world addicted to control. Chosen one, this is where the shock begins. Your power carries truth without accusation. You don't need to call out deception. Deception collapses in your presence. You don't need to challenge false authority. False authority reveals itself around you. Systems built on image will feel unstable near you. People operating from ego will feel exposed. Environments sustained by fear will resist you. Not because you attack them, but because your frequency makes distortion uncomfortable. This will confuse many. You won't climb the ladder the way others did. You won't compromise the way others did. You won't manipulate the way others did. You won't burn yourself out the way others did. And yet, you will arrive. People will ask, how did they get here? Who backed them? Where did this come from? And the truth will be simple. You were positioned, not promoted. There is something old about your energy. Not outdated. Timeless. Your calm will feel strange in a frantic culture. Your restraint will feel threatening in a reactive world. Your discernment will feel intimidating in a society addicted to impulse. People won't know whether to follow you, resist you, or study you. Because your power does not mirror trends. It restores order. Chosen one, this is one of the clearest signs of royal purple power. You will walk into rooms and conversations will shift. Tension will dissolve or surface. People will become quieter or more alert. Truth will come forward unexpectedly. Not because you demanded attention, but because your presence carries weight. And weight alters atmosphere. This is part of the shock. Some will admire you deeply. Some will distrust you instantly. Some will feel drawn to you. Some will feel threatened by you, often without knowing why. Your power mirrors people back to themselves. And not everyone is prepared to see who they've become, or avoided becoming. This is where the world will be most confused. When challenged, you will not panic. When doubted, you will not react. When misunderstood, you will not over-explain. You will stand still. Not from weakness, but from knowing. And that level of self-command is rare. Chosen one, listen carefully. The shock will not be in your success. It will not be in your influence. It will not even be in your authority. The shock will be in your way of being. You will move without desperation. You will lead without fear. You will speak without needing to convince. You will withdraw without guilt. You will return without announcing yourself. And people will feel unsettled because they cannot manipulate what is internally governed. Some will call it luck. Some will call it divine favor. Some will call it mystery. Some will call it threat. Some will call it destiny. But few will call it what it truly is. Alignment with divine authority. If your power had arrived before you were refined, it would have destroyed you, or corrupted you. But now, you are not impressed by attention. You are not intoxicated by influence. You are not shaken by resistance. You are grounded, clear, anchored. And that is why the world is about to feel the full weight of what you carry. Chosen one. Your royal purple power will not shock the world. Because it is loud. It will shock the world. Because it is inevitable. You will not need to announce your arrival. Your presence will do that for you. And when people finally realize who has been standing quietly among them all along, it will already be too late to stop what has begun. Chosen one. Before you continue with your day, before you scroll, before you speak to anyone else, this moment is not accidental. It is not symbolic. It is confirmational. What you are about to hear is not meant to excite you. It is meant to anchor you. Take a slow breath in, and release it gently. Again. Slowly. Because what is activating now does not respond to urgency. It responds to presence. Chosen one. You were not created randomly. You were not shaped by accident. You were not refined without purpose. Everything you endured, everything you lost, everything that confused you, everything that isolated you, was preparing you to hold what is now awakening. Say this internally as you listen. I do not chase power. I carry it. Your royal purple power does not need permission. It does not need validation. It does not need witnesses to exist. It was placed in you before the world had language for it. Chosen one. From this moment forward, your presence carries authority. Not authority that controls. Authority that stabilizes. Where there is confusion, you bring clarity. Where there is chaos, you bring calm. Where there is fear, you bring grounding. Not because you force it, but because your frequency demands alignment. Say this slowly in your spirit. I trust my timing. I trust my knowing. I trust my restraint. You are no longer required to rush. You are no longer required to prove. You are no longer required to explain. Those seasons are complete. What is opening now responds to stillness, not struggle. Chosen one. Your silence is no longer emptiness. It is command without noise. Your boundaries are no longer walls. They are filters for alignment. Your patience is no longer waiting. It is positioning. Let this settle. I move with precision. I speak with intention. I choose with clarity. From this day forward, you will notice changes. Subtle at first. People will listen more closely when you speak. Opportunities will align without force. Distractions will lose their grip. Your intuition will guide you effortlessly. Not because the world changed, but because you did. Chosen one. You are not here to compete. You are not here to dominate. You are not here to impress. You are here to restore order. Simply by being who you are. Say this internally, with certainty. I honor what I carry. I protect my energy. I walk in alignment. And now hear this clearly. You are not late. You are not behind. You are not missing anything. Everything is unfolding exactly as it should. What is meant for you recognizes you. What is not falls away without effort. Chosen one. From this moment on, walk slower, listen deeper, react less, trust more. Your royal purple power does not rush into rooms. It arrives. And when it does, the world will feel it, long before it understands it. Take one final breath. And know this. Your activation is complete. Your authority is sealed. Your path is clear. Move forward quietly. The shock will come later. Chosen one, before you go, I want to speak to the givers, the ones whose hearts feel called to pour back into the vessel that pours into them. If this message awakened you, if it strengthened you, if it spoke to your spirit in a way only heaven could orchestrate, then I invite you, only if your heart feels led, to sow a $1 seed into this channel. Not because God needs it, but because giving is a spiritual law. A small seed carries big obedience. And God multiplies what is given with pure intention. Your $1 keeps this ministry alive, keeps the messages flowing, and helps this word reach the next chosen one who needs it. If you feel that nudge in your spirit, if you feel that gentle pull, you can plant your $1 seed using the link in the description. And if you can't or don't feel led, you are still loved, still seen, and still covered. Blessings to every giver, and blessings to every listener. Your seed moves heaven in ways you may never see. But God sees it all.